to get me to believe that Cassie Ventura was the alley cat, the main temptress, and the source of your pain because she didn't give you the affection. No, you said what you said and you slipped up and you wanted to get the infection because the infection is you. Welcome back to Karmic Justice TV, everyone. Court is now in session. Moving right along, going back to the Diddy trial. Diddy has presented his energy here to the courts today, and he says that he's ready to talk. Now, Diddy has come through on multiple occasions, and quite honestly, he has come through to disrupt a lot of the court hearings. So I only hope that Diddy will be on his best behavior today. Now, it's very interesting that he says that he wants him and his baby girl to come. And at first, I thought he was talking about his lovely daughters, his twin daughters. But I got the energy that he wanted Cassie. He wants to bring Cassie to the stand. Now, it appears that Mr. I want to call him Combs. This is a setup. I know I'm being set up, but I'm going to humor you today, Mr. Combs, Mr. Diddy. And we're going to bring up Cassie to the stand along with yourself. See, what Diddy likes to do, he likes for me to pick pictures with him and the other person that I'm channeling so that somehow he can influence their energy field. But Mr. Diddy, I will humor you today, and we will go ahead and bring up you and baby girl as you say. Okay, so welcome to the stand, Mrs. Cassie Ventura and P. Diddy. And I'm going to go ahead and I want you to give the court some adjectives today to describe why you and Cassie Ventura has shown up here today. So let's go ahead and get some adjectives here. Okay, so it appears Cassie is speaking some sort of karmic cycle. She's saying that you weren't right and you were never right and you were never here. You weren't right, you were never right, and you were never here. Okay? Okay. All right, Diddy, what do you want to present to the courts today? I just wanted your affection. I just wanted your... He's saying infection. He's saying infection. First, he said affection. But I'm getting infection. Which one is it, Diddy? Did you want an infection from her or did you want affection from her? You're going to be here. You're going to have to give me straight answers. I wanted the affection from the heart, but see, what I'm truly getting is I wanted the infection from the heart. It appears, guys, that these two people have a karmic relationship. So let's find out here on Karmic Justice TV just how karmic this actually is. Miss Ventura, I'm going to allow you to start. I want you to let the courts know today, are you willing to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Are you willing to do that? She's saying, if I'm pressured to. There's no pressure here, Cassie. Are you willing through source to say, I am here to tell the truth and to set the narrative straight? Are you willing to do this, Miss Ventura? She's saying, I've been scolded to conform. I've been scolded to conform. Okay. It doesn't appear that Miss Ventura is operating with full consciousness. This is either P. Diddy's energy influencing her, or either she has just been around him so long, or possibly even other men in the industry, that she has not formulated her own sense of self. So which one is it, Cassie? I was programmed to behave, to be controlled by my owners because I was sold. That's what she's saying. You were sold in which way, Cassie? You were sold. What do you mean? I was sold. Hmm? What do you mean you were sold? My mind was sold, and it's almost as if her mind is severed as well. Sorry, guys, I didn't know that this would be like this. Give me a second. Give me a second here. What's truly going on here? Diddy, do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? And he's just saying he wants to be free. This is interesting. Cassie, it's okay. I want you to lock in. I want you to lock in. Cassie, I want you to lock in. There's something in the heart space, and I'm not sure if this is coming from Diddy or Cassie. There's a energy or something, feels like something solid inside, something very heavy in the on the right part of the heart. Very, very heavy. And it brings like a pain in my body from the right side of the heart all the way up to the neck. So there's some restriction there within not only the body, but in the energy field as well. Who does this restriction belong to? This is interesting, guys, because they're kind of going back and forth. What I'm kind of seeing with these two people, they're operating as one. They're not operating independently of each other in consciousness, and I need to find out why that is exactly. Cassie, are you going to speak today? She's saying if you drag it out of me. Okay, thank you. 1 second. It's a very interesting relationship. And it's very interesting because, you know, as of Sean or Khan said that he was ready to talk today, he wanted me to bring Cassie. But this vibration that I'm getting from Cassie is not an autonomous being, is not a person with soul residue. And I'm not saying that she's not a real soul, but it just feels as if she's anchored in something else that is not allowing her the soulful expression, right, of a natural soul. Feels as if she's anchored in something. These two are still mirroring each other. Look into Diddy's eyes in this photo. I want us to see something here. This is the eyes of a man that's very afraid. And you would almost say it looks like he's seen a ghost. I really want you guys to take a look at this. Hold on 1 second. I want you to take a look at this. Feels as if he's seen a ghost. Feels as if he's seen something that he can't unsee. And it feels as if she knows something that she's hiding. I'm not here to blame the victim. I'm here to judge from a spiritual standpoint. And something in the milk is not clean with both Cassie and Diddy. Now, this could very well be the influence of Diddy's energy. Very much so. It could be. But in this current vibration, Cassie is hiding a lot of dark things. She's hiding a lot of drugs, I'm hearing. This is all alleged now. This is just what source just ain't never lied. She's hiding a lot of secrets, of systems, of processes. It was like she's, someone does a drug run, or it's like she has a way, like for instance, if she needed to get a certain amount of drugs for a party or something, she knows all the code words. She knows where to go, who to send, what to do, all the protocols. It's like, I don't know why I'm getting a back alley girl. I don't know why. I've never heard that saying. This is just what I'm hearing right now. She kept a lot of the systems going on for not just the parties, but just his lifestyle. But it feels as if she's very much a part of it. And it could also be because she's fearful and because she has been programmed to be this way. So we're going to get to that part, but I want to present this to the courts. And I'm also looking at what she's wearing too, the color red, right? But I'm also getting like the scarlet letter. And so in one way, some people are shunning her. And in another way, she feels shunned as well from all of what she's done. But now if you look at Diddy, now I understand why Diddy wanted to bring up Cassie and why I selected this photo. Why don't you take a look at what Diddy's wearing? His face is surprised. His face is like, I've seen a ghost or an entity or a demon. However, his body appears to be dressed in all white, very angelic, very opposite of what his face looks like. Cassie, on the other hand, is wearing red, which we can equate to something, devilish in this energy. We could create to something secret, something being hidden. Now, what I want us to do is if we were to switch what Cassie has on, the color red, and now let's go ahead and put the color red, put Diddy in a red suit. And now it makes more sense with Diddy in the red suit and this facial expression. Now I want us to put Cassie in an all white dress. And now we get more triumph over the pain that I experienced. I want us to pay attention when we change the colors, when we swap them back. Diddy, you've been naughty in the spiritual realm. When we swap these two back, now we get Cassie no longer being a back alley girl or being very much immersed and keeping the system going. I'm really getting drugs heavily. But now she is someone, when we put her in white, she's someone that comes out on the other side. Still maybe holding on to a little bit of the residue of the past, but triumphed over it and now becomes a survivor, right? And then Diddy with the red suit on, now the judge and the jury can place him as the sole issue or sole issuer of the pain and inflictions. So what I'm seeing, I believe, is also maybe the play that they're using for the trial itself. Okay? I want to set that up because that was very important. So what I'm seeing is the play of possibly what they're using in the entire trial. If we can paint him in white, even though all of the things are coming out of the closet, but if we can paint him as either feeble, old, sick, sorry, or still a list celebrity, If we can paint him clean in the eyes of public opinion, if we could put a white suit on him, if we can make Cassie look like the temptress, then we can get the jury to put the scarlet letter on her, as I now rest in her essence. Diddy, you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. Bringing Cassie Ventura here to spiritual court, thinking you could influence the energy field to get me to believe that Cassie Ventura was the alley cat, the main temptress, and the source of your pain. Even going as far as to give me a false signal on the right side of my heart, because she didn't give you the affection. No, you said what you said and you slipped up, and you wanted to get the infection, because the infection is you. But like energies bind to like energies. And this may be a little bit different for you guys who are new to this channel, but I am a spiritual healer. I'm a ancestral psychic medium, an ascension coach, and a quantum telepathic healer. And what I am telling you is I read soul blueprints, energy signatures. He was trying to swap with Cassie's energy signature. This is the play for the courtroom. Let it be known today. This is the play. This is the play to dress him in all white, to paint everyone else around as they are part of upholding the system that not he created, the higher ups before him created, but they left him holding the bag. So he's the one on trial. You should be ashamed of yourself that you thought that you could come here and get over on me. So let's go ahead to the courts. I want you to, in your mind's eye, let's swap these two back. Let's put the red suit on Diddy. And when I do that, I get flames coming up. I get flames, like he's already burning. I get flames. And let's go ahead and put the white outfit, the white dress on Miss Ventura here, guys. Let's go ahead and do that now. And now we can see the picture a little bit more clear. Now, Diddy with the red suit on. I want you to tell me more about the infection. And also, when I was preparing, when I pulled this picture, my hand accidentally slipped on to save it to my downloads versus to the desktop. And that gave me a hint that he was going to be colluding this session today. When we think about a download, we think about something coming from an outside source. But what source is that coming from? Is it coming from the source of all, God, or is it coming from a different source? So I wanted to save it on the desktop. The desktop is what? It's right in front of you. It gives you the full view. It's quick access. You turn on your computer and there's the desktop. It's easy to find. It's not hiding. It's not cloaking. He wanted me to save it into the desktops, not the desktop, but into the downloads, so that I could not see it on my desktop. So when we think about something in the downloads, and if you're on your desktop, you can't see it. You have to go in and search for it. And on top of that, it is hidden. It is in the background. It is not up front. And it gives me the energy of when Cassie was saying, hey, if I was essentially programmed to be this way by the ones who bought me, or rather she said she was sold. So now this download is making sense. Miss Ventura, and I don't know how you've got this way, But it appears, and you may not even know, because to be honest with you, I'm not picking up on soul residue here. It appears that when you were bought and sold into the music game, and this is all coming from thy source, when you got into this industry, you were already slated as a pass around girl. Don't take this the wrong way, because you were so beautiful and young, but the talent was not to the point where, let's just say your talent had to come with a lot of manipulation in order to get you to be in a position like an Aaliyah, for say. It would take a lot of manipulation, and therefore it would not produce an Aaliyah, because Aaliyah, there wasn't a lot of manipulation. She was just kind of this raw talent, right? So within this is what kind of left you vulnerable, because now you were automatically a vibrational match to manipulation. And I don't know where your parents were, but they should have been around at that time, even if you were, grown over 18, but because you were quite youthful, you were quite useful to the Hollywood system and machine, is what I'm getting. So your talent already took a level of manipulation, making you a vibrational match to be a pass around girl. No matter who you worked with before, Benny, I'm getting Benny, some person named Benny. I don't know if you worked with the Benny. This is, I think Benny Medina. I think he may have worked with J-Lo or been her manager at one point. It appears that whoever, they've already, so when Diddy met you, he didn't meet you as this raw talent that was going to be this authentic sort of artist. He met you understanding that you were sold into this. So, and I think that, though, this is very important for the courts to understand. They buy and sell people all the time, and it's an implied contract. When you show up to the studios late at night, young women trying to, break into the music industry. Now, guys, I'm talking from someone that knows. I used to be a songwriter in the music industry, professional songwriter and a producer, right? Television producer. So I'm telling you what I know. As a writer, you write at all hours of the night. Sometimes we would stay up for days and just write, right? But to the young artist coming into this game, you can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning at these studios, because they're already sizing you up, who they're going to use this person for and that person for. And it won't matter about your talent, but especially if you are young, you are useful to be manipulated. And because the talent already needed to take a form of manipulation to even produce such a product, she was already put into the category. So when Diddy met her, he met her as a pass around. And as harsh as this may sound, I'm telling you what happens in the industry. And it has happened since the inception of time. And even I know myself, going into a studio as a songwriter, I see all the, they call the 3 or 4s or whatever, or the studio hoes, they call them the studio hoes. Like me and my writing partner, my best friend, we would go in there fully dressed. We would come in our sweats and our hoodies and our, our Uggs and like oversized, our oversized everything, because we were not, we were there to write, but we were not going to be confused with the 304s, or what we called them, the studio hoes. We were not going to be confused with that, right? And so Diddy never met her as anything but a pass around. So when Diddy met her, she had already been sold into the Hollywood machine. Cassie has never been free since she's entered the musical sphere, and I'm getting around the age of 12 or 13. And I think her mother has a lot to do with this, to be honest with you. I think her mother set her up in this vibration And her energy is showing up more than Cassie. Cassie's energy's in the background. Cassie's not in this body. Cassie's mother's energy is showing up. And she's not sorry to what she did to her daughter. Something happened around the age of 16, 17 that really put Cassie in front of the right people. This is when this contract, it's more than an implied contract, an actual contract. I'm not sure if she signed a management deal or something to someone around that age, but this is when she was sold. She was sold on paper unknowingly. You have to read the fine print. She was sold on paper. She was never going to get out of this, because even when she changed hands to Diddy, I think Diddy signed her on some ridiculous like 10 album deal or something crazy. Even if it's 5, we know, source has said, her talent could only be produced. You were never going to get 5, 10 albums out of her, because she's not even in control of her own consciousness, Diddy. And he understood that. And so what I am telling you is when this changed hands, whoever brought her to Diddy, it was a business deal. It was going from one captivity to the next. So she went from her mother to whoever deal she signed around that young age, whatever management deal or production deal she was in. This happened definitely under the age of 18. Then when Diddy got the contract, it was never going to be anything but that vibration. And so when Cassie says she's been programmed, she means it. She means it. And so when Diddy wants me to download, save the picture to my downloads versus putting it on the desktop, it just proves that this is what kind of has been happening to Cassie. Cassie has just been downloaded a bunch of information from the industry. And it was Holly Bailey that brought this to my attention, of how they store things inside of people as a time capsule. So now we see a lot of these disgusting things that came out during the court and prior to the court hearing, of all of these things that were happening with the freak offs and with the, with the parties and with the, the drugs and with the baby powder and all of this, or baby oil. All of these things are being stored inside of Cassie, because some of these vessels, they just want to store things, to download things inside of them, is what I am saying. And Cassie's one of these people. However, she's never had autonomy. She doesn't have it now in her marriage, because Cassie does not have, I'm not picking up on a soul essence. I'm not. And I'm not to say that she doesn't have it, but I'm saying it's not presently here today in court. Which is quite sad. So she's been used to download things, to store things. She's been used as almost like a robot. She has a body, but she's only in this space with Diddy because she's a vessel that you can download things into. Okay, so let's make that clear. And this karmic judgment, to be honest with you, want to say this before I get off of this. This is not just from this lifetime. See, Cassie has a yoke around her neck. Cassie is enslaved by, she's in a soul contract. And this has happened for a very long time. That she's literally had a yoke, a chain, a collar, dog collar around her neck. I'm going to give you a prelude to something I channeled last year on the other channel, Instructions for Humanity. Diddy hosted this demon inside of his body. So there's this demon, it's called Argon. It's a argon, or even archonic energy. And it's about 15 million years old. And what it does, it goes to different dimensions and times and it soils it. So what it does is it goes and it leaks its sewage, its poison essence, and it ruins atmospheres of dimensions, of timelines. So anything seated there will now have a dark essence built into the fabric. Diddy is cut from that cloth. Diddy's life was never going to be anything but this outcome. This is also why he had the mother that he had, which she supported the outcome, because in truth, it was Diddy's cut from the cloth of this Orgone energy, of this Orgone demonic spirit that just soils the atmosphere in different places. So I want to say that. And so Cassie is in a soul contract with the Orgone energy. So this is truly, truly, truly a hearing for spiritual court, for karmic court, because in truth, it goes far beyond the physicality is nothing. Cassie will not get free in the physicality. Cassie, you will not be free with the money, with the 20 million or whatever it is you received. That is a setup to keep you bound and back in chains. When you take from the evil one, you now bind yourself back because you've created an energetic cord. This is why I kept saying you have to give the money back. You have to give everything back, all the bags, everything back to Diddy, which is the Orgone energy, which is a very ancient demon. You have to return it back. Once you return everything back, this is what ultimately breaks you out of the contract. So this, my dear, is the karmic judgment, or actually, I'm going to call this for you. This is the karmic justice for you, my dear. And it takes trust, and it takes you coming back to wholeness with source to be able to pull something like this off, to give back the life that you have been afforded. It takes you to give it all back. Everything from the first time you entered into this Hollywood contract and you were sold from person to person, everything from that point, you got to give it back. And what this means is you got to go back to school. I'm hearing you got to go back to school, Cassie, back to yourself prior to getting into this industry, building yourself up from there. This will not be an easy path. This will be a path that you will only be able to walk with source, because once you walk this path, everyone in your life will leave you. You will feel that you have no one and nothing, because all the material things of money, it will have to leave too. But source will provide during this time. And this is how you get out of the contract, my dear. So that's the karmic justice for you. Now, moving along back to Diddy. Diddy, this will not work. You will not be seen as pure. Now, it depends. I don't know the jury. Maybe it's all a setup. I don't know. Allegedly, but on purpose, girl. Allegedly on purpose. Maybe it is all a setup. But it is my hope for the natural courts that we place Diddy back in the red suit. This is my hope, that we can put him on the desktop, out in front and not hiding, so that everyone sees his essence. However, this was a little boy that was wounded and tarnished from his mother. But when we grow in age, we don't get to stay in the pain. We have to go through our healing cycles, right? And so you must be held in contempt at Karmic Justice Court TV. You're going to be held in contempt. You're going to be held for trying to manipulate the courts or trying to swap essence with Cassie. You're going to be held for that. We're going to hold you here, Diddy, because I want your soul to grow from this. I want you free too. I don't want you yoked with the demon. There is redemption for every soul. This is a karmic judgment, yes, but it will turn out to be justice in the future or in another lifetime. When you now have full sovereignty and you don't have to collude with other beings and people and materialism. That's the true freedom, when you don't have to do that, when your sustenance comes from thy source. This is your karmic judgment, Diddy. You're going to be stripped away from this white suit and Cassie's essence, and you will be put back into the red suit, back on the desktop for the jury to see. Let them have eyes to see. And now his facial expression makes a lot more sense with him back in the red vibration. He's very much still operating in root. And it's interesting, he tricked his way into the heart. Now, the red in this case is also representing the heart, but it's representing the cardinal part of the heart, the 3D part of the heart, which is just the blood pumping. But there is no like essence, no love, no higher vibration when the chakra turns a bright emerald green color. This is when we get and we know that we have expanded our heart space. He's trying to fool us to present to the red, to present the pain in the heart. But because he does not know of the heart vibration, it was found faulty to not be true in vibration, Diddy. You can't fake this. You're not going to be able to hide in karmic court, in spiritual court. You won't hide. So it's best to come clean. So I think I'm going to leave this case here, but I want to touch upon back on the infection. He gave Cassie multiple infections because, like I said, he is also yoked up with the Argon spirit. Now, that spirit did leave his body, but he's still wearing essence. Guys, we can remove attachments, but then we also have to go through and remove the essence, the sewage, the droplings that they implant. And sometimes that can be even harder than removing the actual entity because it's so layered and it's so hidden and it takes you opening up every part of yourself. And sometimes it can take lifetimes for you to do the work on this. And that's what I'm seeing. But these sewage caused an infection, the sewage from the original entity that Diddy was hosting in his body. And the sewage, it gets to our heart because the heart is what? The secret place of the Most High. The heart is the expansion portal. The heart is access back to Cassie's consciousness. So they had to infect the heart, keep that infection going on. So as he passes all of these disgusting infections back and forth to her, what it is doing, it is chaining her back to the captivity because it does not allow the heart to flourish, to grow, to expand so that she can regain back consciousness, right? And so that she can now receive her own download. She does not have to get things downloaded within her and be used as a storage facility, right? And so I just wanted to say that. So I've given out the karmic judgment for Diddy and the karmic justice for Cassie. And with that being said, court is adjourned.